Well, Mr. Solomon Shoyebi joins us next. He's the National Commissioner in charge of Media and Publicity for INEC. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
So what is INEC doing about this elections on Saturday?
Well, the commission itself is created by law, and we are very mindful of the fact that this election must be concluded at least 30 days to the handing over date. That's why we have chosen the 9th of January as the date. We have gone extra miles to ensure that at least we conclude this particular election. We've had interactions with all the candidates, 21 of them, with their running mates, with the candidates and their running mates. We've had interactions and discussions with security agencies. We've had discussions even with civil society organizations. We had interaction with the press. So we've consulted the major stakeholders to ensure that we have a conclusive election come 9th of January 2016. As you are all aware, this particular election got to this stage because of issues related, violence-related issues. Just like the first one which we did, which was inconclusive too. It's becoming worrisome because, number one, there are two things which we have realized in the Commission. Elections are now being more keenly contested in the country. The difference between the two forerunners in this particular election is under 30,000. If you had looked at the previous elections in Bayelsa, we've always had what we call a landslide, where the difference will have been over 800,000 between the winner and then the runners-up. Here we have less than 30,000. And what we had in Kogitu was less than 50,000. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that the people of Bayelsa are the main factors that will determine their governor. Not violence, not interference, and not twisting or writing the law on its head. The keener the election is, the longer, it's most likely to be longer, at least in...
What do you say to the allegation, sorry, Chamberlain, of those who say that in the past, INEC never really did conduct elections, that, you know, results were mostly written, and that these elections are beginning to prove it?
Well, I would say that that's not really true. Different situations arise. Number one, we have deployed massively technology in this particular election. Mm-hmm. It is not possible now, as it was in the past, for any vote to find its way into our own side without passing through the card reader. Technology has helped us a lot, at least in achieving this. The Commission has always advocated for the use of technology, at least in eradicating most of these malices that are associated with election.
That's what they said. They said technology proves their case. That if in recent past, we used to have almost all the voters turn out for the elections, most of the registered voters turn out for the elections, and the entire votes counted are usually almost in tally with the number of registered voters. And what we're seeing now is a decline in that numbers, and sometimes even a fraction of those who have their PVCs are the ones who come out. Does it not say something? Is INEC not worried about the statistics?
No, we definitely were, right from the inception. That's why we have come to this stage. There were stages when in fact, you even missed out. There were places where we had more voters than registered voters. They will bring results that were even more than the people that were registered. Mm-hmm. These were major concerns to the Commission. And that's how we got to this stage that, look, whether we like it or not, we have to identify our cards and we have to identify our voter. We have to protect him and then make sure that at least the quality of the vote is improved. That is exactly what technology has done. The Commission had been advocating for this for a very, very long time. As you are even aware, we are still in a dilemma of using this issue of electronic voting machine because the law says we cannot.
Well, Mr. Shoyebi, in the first instance, there are many who have said, look, they don't even know if they are categorical. They say INEC is not even properly constituted. to conduct elections in the first place? And they're referring to the board of INEC. Is that correct? How many members of the board do we have?
Well, that's the everybody is entitled to legal interpretation. We are created by law. As of now, there are 7 members. 7? Yes. A chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, and 6 members from each geopolitical zone to constitute the member. That's the membership of the INEC as of now.
Is that what the law says, that there will be 7?
Well, the law does not say there will be 7, but the law prescribes at least the quorum that can sit.
So
that much I can.
Quorum that can sit?
Yes.
So what is quorum?
A quorum is just about 1/3 of the body.
Of what? Of 7?
Of the body, which is supposed to be 13.
Oh, so the quorum is the body is supposed to be 13.
13.
So a quorum of 13.
Yes.
Is 5. Is it?
4 plus 1 chairman, yes.
In other words, you're not properly constituted.
Well, that's left to legal interpretation.
You just said that.
No, I didn't.
If the quorum
I'm just giving you the facts.
If the body is supposed to be 13.
Supposed to be, but
you're
then
7.
In reality, at any time there are 7 people present, I don't see it, personally, I don't see it as... No. Let me remind you one thing. There was a time when all the members of the commission had to leave at the same time. It's left a big gap in the operation of the commission. There was a time when 10, let me put the guy's era specifically. The guy came in with 10 different national commissioners, and 13 people had to leave. I think we should try to avoid such a situation where there will be such a large vacuum.
Let me be sure that I understood what you said.
Yes.
You said that there are supposed to be 13 members of the board.
The Constitution says 13, 2 from each geopolitical zone, and then a chairman who is also a member of the board. That's the law.
Okay, but you have 7.
Physically, there are 7.
So clearly, you haven't met what the law requires.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm sure the legal, it's different to a lot of legal interpretation. There will be some lawyers that will agree with you, and I'm telling you, there will definitely be some that will not
but
agree.
you have to agree that you're not complete as at now.
First and foremost.
You're not complete. I mean, if the law, because it's the law we're talking about, the Constitution demands 12 plus 1, and you only have 7, 6 plus 1 as it stands, it means you're not complete.
Let me ask you, does the law say that the 12 must be complete at the time?
What do you think?
I'm asking you.
No,
because I believe, honestly, there are some things which need special treatment. And I just gave you an example now. Okay. We should avoid this situation because there will come a time when the general election could come and about 10 people could be out. There could be just 2 members left. That will create a great lacuna in the
But you have rightly spoken about the 3rd schedule of the Constitution that talks about the fact that there have to be 13, and then there has to be a quorum of that 13 to properly sit. So if you're 7, it means you clearly have fallen short. And that's what people have raised. They say in the first instance, if that board is not properly constituted and somebody goes to court, so it means all that you've done may just be invalidated.
Well, I wouldn't think so. Personally, I'm not a lawyer, but I wouldn't think so. It's prescribed 12 members, and 7 are physically present.
12 members plus the chairman.
Plus the chairman, 13.
Yeah.
And then 7 are physically present. Well, figuratively, I don't see how that has really broken any law.
But Shebi, you were part of a court judgment in 2010. You were a 4th defendant in that judgment, and you're aware where the judge did say, at that time, 4 people cannot decide that it has to be a quorum of 13, which has got to be 5. And for it to be properly constituted, it has to be 13.
As a matter of fact, if I remind you vividly, what they were saying at that time was that we needed 5, not 4. There were 4 people. They were saying that 4 was not the quorum, that it was 5. That was just the argument at that time. It's now that we're talking about 7 not being a quorum, when even 4 was not a quorum sometimes. But that time, when we had the exit of about 8 members, what people were clamoring for at that time was that 4 people, 3 commissioners and 1 chairman could not form a quorum. That at least they needed 1 more. That was the argument at that time.
Yeah, but there has to be a quorum of something.
Yes, 13.
Okay. So, who knows if someone goes to court tomorrow, if all of this will not be invalidated. But then, back to Bayelsa, in terms of, you were talking about, you said 30,000, the difference. Could you explain that a little bit? Because many will think that what you meant by that is that 30,000 more to declare winner. Is that what you mean?
No, that's not what I mean. I'm talking about the two leading candidates. The difference between them are just less than 30,000 votes. And then the number of people that have been deprived from casting their votes, either by violence or some other means, in this particular state, is about 150,000. That figure is enough to, I mean, it's a figure which you must consider. I must inject that figure to ensure that it is the people themselves that actually choose their candidates.
I'm looking at Southern Ijaw, and it's almost 48 hours to the big election in Bayelsa State.